The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Hello there, and welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic, your favorite. This is like the fourth week in a row where I've screwed up the intro for Knights. I get hello there. This is the Star Wars show. It's Connor. Say hi to Connor, everybody.
Hi, guys.
And it's not just me and Connor. Yeah, Connor's me. Yeah, you've been out for a minute, man. Like everybody talks so often in the group chat that I forget that there are people who have not actually been on this show for a hot minute.
Yeah.
And just the way the revolving door has been. But speaking of people you guys haven't seen in a minute, I'm going to go mic down for a second. It's a Gerry episode, bitches!
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, that's right. Hire your babysitters and tell the kids I'll see you on Thursday because I'm here. You're not getting out of here for a while. All right?
Nice.
All right? I'm holding it down. I'm holding these guys hostage. Whoa, what are we going to do?
This is true.
Glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Quick disclaimer. We are just going to be talking about the two most recent episodes of The Bad Batch, the one we missed last week, and obviously this week's. When we come back from camp, when we can have Levi and or Travis on, we will be talking about Star Wars Visions. However, as of right now, I do not want to touch the Star Wars anime show without our two resident anime experts, and maybe see if Lexi's able to stop by because she's become just as much of a hardcore weeb as Levi and Travis, I would say. I think she has even surpassed me. Not that my level of weebery is that impressive, but there's a handful of shows that I like a lot. But that said, we are going to jump into some. But okay, before we do that, and again, this is another thing we're going to do after camp, is have another High Republic: The Story So Far episode. Speaking of which, we are joined by our guest from the last time we did that. So, real quick, I don't want to go all the way in on the Rising Storm, but just some brief The Rising Storm talk. Connor, how far are you? You're not finished?
I'm 127 pages in. Skyrim's way too addicting, man.
What is the last thing that just happened for you, Connor?
What do you mean? Oh, in the book?
Yeah.
The Jedi did some cool stuff.
They're on, from what I can remember.
You want to turn your mic up a little bit, buddy?
Yeah. How's that?
It's all right. I'd get in on get on that mic so we can hear your sexy baritone.
Gotta have it.
I think they're at the fair.
Okay.
Or at least the fair's like starting. Yeah, I'm not that far in.
Well, I'm happy to inform you that the fair goes very well.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing goes wrong.
Nothing goes wrong.
Nothing goes wrong. There are no terror attacks.
Nice.
Nothing bad happens. Nothing bad happens at all.
Perfect.
Martian Rowe just decides to become a model. And he's like,
yeah,
you know what? It's
Martian
fine.
Rowe's just chilling. He's up to...
I'm done with all these weirdos over here who like to perform violence. I'm just going to be a model, from a Martian hose. That's all I'm going to be.
Arzu and Maggie are going to be super happy about that.
Yes, very much so. The spoilers, by the way. So there you go.
Here, I'm gonna spare his ears. I'm not okay, Gerry. I'm not
okay.
handling this book.
Can he hear us?
He definitely can hear us because it did not actually remove him from the stream.
Oh,
I just wanted to do a bit of like putting the kid to bed. Connor, what are you doing here?
I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Mommy and Daddy are talking right now.
Yeah, no spoilers here. Like I said, we'll be doing more spoilers.
Perfect.
I thought it was a funny bit, Connor. I hope it got a chuckle.
Kevin, if I hadn't ruined it, it's Kevin's fault. It's all Kevin Scott's fault.
Kevin is to blame.
I tweeted at him. I finished the book.
I did too.
And I was like, you hurt me. And he just hit me with a gif of, I think it was Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, just going, I'm sorry.
I sent one to Go ahead.
No, well, I was just saying, like, if I knew Kevin Scott like that and I could have the kind of like aggressively sarcastic tone with him that I have with all of you on Twitter, I could get away with I don't forgive you. I hate you. This,
I mean,
he doesn't know me like that. Whoa, what is that? Does anybody else hear that?
I do hear that. We set off the fog alarm, the foghorn.
I do not know where that is coming from.
Let's see, let me mute. Not me.
It's on Connor.
No, Connor. Dude, your computer. I think the Nihil are in your computer. I tweeted at sounds better, but now I can't hear you. Okay.
Connor, I'm so sorry.
I love you, Connor. Should we wait here?
You can keep riffing while Connor tries to figure it out.
Okay. All right. Professional.
I assume we're good.
Yes. Well,
and we lost you again.
You were half a second. But anyway, so I sent a message to Mr. Cavan as well, or I tweeted at him, and basically, I've never been so delightfully what was the word I used? Delightfully just gutted and stuff. I mean, just in this, like, absolutely, like, my emotions were on a ride. And he said, like, yeah, like, you know, hey, that's what I do, and or something to that extent. And I sent the gif of the little kid with, you know, talking to like the news lady or whatever, and she goes, "I'm fine." Puts his hand on his face, like starts crying. Says, like, that's how you feel. It's like, I'm fine. I'm good.
I was like actively yelling at and yelling back at the audiobook. Like, yes. I'm laying in bed the other night, and again, no spoilers, but I used very explicit language listening to that audiobook. And a certain character who did not deserve how kindly she was treated in the end is all I'm going to say. A certain character who did not deserve how kindly she was treated in the end. I used a word I don't like to use very loudly in the middle of the night listening to the book when she did the thing that made her not deserve said kindness. And that's all I will say. Also, Marcion Rowe, listen, I got nothing but love, respect, and admiration for Maggie and Arzu and all the other Marcion hoes out there.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
Okay? Same.
And nothing but respect for you guys, your work, and how much you love this character. I hope he dies slowly.
I would be up for a redemption down the line, but right now, man, he is
no.
I'm with you.
No,
dude, your tweet when you were like, you posted from I think it's To Kill a Mockingbird, not To Kill a Mockingbird, A Time to Kill, and where it's Samuel Jackson going, yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. Dude, I was with like there was one point during something that happens where I was unknowingly crushing the life out of a water bottle in my hand in my car, not even thinking about it. Then I go, oh shit, like be careful, I don't want to pop this thing or whatever. I mean, oh my gosh, you really hit the nail on the head with that one. Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Like, listen, man, I'm gonna just say it like it is. And I put this on Twitter, and I'm gonna reiterate it now. My favorite thing about the High Republic is that it makes me feel about the Jedi the way I did when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Is that I was not capable of any type of deeper metatextual analysis where I could go, oh, the Jedi as an institution and as an organization are flawed. The Jedi have elements to it that make it kind of broken and bad. And critique it from there. And then I arrived at this like, well, the Jedi could be great, but they're just kind of like mid-tier good as an institution, as just like a force in the galaxy. And there are Jedi characters I like a lot, and the concept of trying to like make sense out of what the Jedi are and mean and should be is interesting. But outside of that, I can't really love the Jedi the way I used to as a kid. Then Light of the Jedi comes out, and I'm like, this is how I thought the Jedi were as kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it.
Yep.
And I'm like so attached to this idea of like how the Jedi, like I have a version of the Jedi that I can unapologetically, unabashedly be like, they get it. They're doing the right things.
Absolutely.
And now here I am by the end of the Rising Storm. And there's a part of me that wishes some of the Jedi who are emblematic of why the Order is broken existed in the High Republic, because right now, you know what the Jedi could use? You know what they could use? Some unhinged lunatic like Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Or Porter Angle, if he decided to do. I feel like Porter. I mean, obviously, you guys can't spoil anything because I'm not even 20 chapters in.
I cannot say anything about the Blade of Bardoda.
But like, I don't know, the fact that he has that name, I just feel like he could just become unhinged at any point.
That's what I'm saying. Or like, give me someone who's like super militant, like a Mace Windu, right? Well, like give me somebody. Give me one of the people
fit into the High Republic.
If you plucked Anakin Skywalker and put him in this era, I think he could be unhinged, and they would still be able to keep him on the light side.
Yeah, that's the thing.
After everything,
they would.
I can't remember who said it on Twitter. It was either on Twitter or just on on somewhere else on social media.
It was somewhere. I know what you're saying. I saw it too. It was. I agreed with it completely. Go ahead.
Like, yeah, just how, I don't know if you've heard of it, Jared. Someone said like, and if Anakin was in the High Republic era, like he wouldn't have turned to the dark side.
No. Here's what I will say. I think
they would have made him a way seeker.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I like the idea of Wayseeker Skywalker. Here's my thing with that. I'm not 100% sold that the type of like the kind of dogma that drove Anakin to the dark side isn't still here, as evidenced by how Elzar Mann is handling the Vision.
Right.
And no spoilers, but it's not well.
Yeah, I've gotten a bit of that. He because I know he's met.
It gets much worse.
Oh,
it's. Oh man. Oh, I want to say so much.
Also,
all I gotta say is I'm a hardcore Elzar stan. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Elzar stands all around. He's. Oh my god, Connor, has Ty Yorick crossed paths with the Jedi yet? For you?
No, I've met her, but she hasn't crossed paths yet.
Saber for hire. Holy shit.
I know. I freaking love her, dude.
She's so cool. Anyway, I
gotta be careful.
we both do, because I don't want to spoil it for people, but
no,
phenomenal book.
I will tell you real quick. You were talking about how, like, yelling expletives that we shouldn't say in public are what Henry Zabrowski of the Last Podcast on the Left crew calls house thoughts and stuff. You yell that stuff, but just as much you were talking. Look back to the good side. You were talking about the Jedi being what you remember as kids. I can't tell you how many times I have cheered during the High Republic books, especially in this one. Cheered out loud for things happening, the Jedi doing heroic things. I'm 100% with you.
I accidentally swallowed toothpaste because I got excited while listening while I was brushing my teeth.
It's so true, though. I'm telling you, it's so true. I'm sitting here with my sound canceling headphones on in my apartment, and I'm just going, yeah, like thinking like, oh, my I probably need to keep it down. My neighbors are going to wonder what's going on and stuff, but it's exciting. It's very exciting. I'm excited for you, Connor. I'm excited for you.
I need to finish it. Like, honestly, if I spent the 8 hours a day that I just do on my days off from work playing Skyrim, reading The Rise and Storm, probably be about 300.
Get the audiobook. Get the audiobook. Do both at once.
The audiobook is fan-fucking-tastic. That's all I got to say. I had to drop my F-bomb. So,
you know what I love? You know what I love a lot? I love that Gerry has been on TNAP shows enough times that he specifically knows the rule that you're supposed to get one. That you've been here, you've been on enough that you're like you might as well have like already been like eating sheets inside of the studio or something.
Well, we used to have that rule on Bombadcast, but now all hell has broken loose over there. Yep. So it's fine. Whatever. I try to be nice when I go other places, though.
It's appreciated. I look forward to visiting you guys very soon.
Absolutely.
Unrelated. I have Twitter open on my computer and I keep seeing this video of the eugenics dipshit that Joe Rogan had on his podcast. And Joe Rogan is a cancer on humanity, and him nor any of his guests should be taken seriously. And anybody who does go on his podcast, who has even a sliver of understanding of the world around them, even you, Quentin, love your movies, you're a dick. Shame on you.
I hear that Rogan Joe is a lot better than Joe Rogan. Honestly, he's out in a galaxy far, far away though with Space Alex Jones. That's even better. I don't know why maybe he'll change his name to that. We'll have to see. I don't know. Rogan Joe is just kind of that's what we got. So I think a boat just passed. I'm not really sure what happened.
That was a motorcycle. Apologies, everyone. I live right next to a highway.
I used to live right next to a lake, so it sounded like you hear things and you're like, that's a boat. That's a boat. And so it's fine. It happens.
So I'm gonna try and find a new place, and by that I mean literally just move 20 feet into the living room.
It's all good. It's all good. Just build yourself a blanket fort.
Honestly, I should do that.
Just like build a blanket fort and like just cancel out all the sound.
Yeah, I'll build my own version of Omega's room.
There you go. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. It's
God,
all
I
good.
hate Joe Rogan so goddamn much. Anyway, the Bad Batch.
Close the a-hole out. He's an a-hole. He's an a-hole. No one likes him. Well, the wrong kind of people like him.
Yeah. Nobody I like unironically want to be around like him. Even Armin from Comic Book Cast, who like regularly listens to Joe Rogan's podcast. There are two types of people who listen to the Joe Rogan Experience. There are people who are way too into it, and then there are other people who point and laugh. Right. Like Armin is definitely the type of person who's like, who finds Joe Rogan as a person interesting, but also is like, wow, you have a lot of horrible people on your show, don't you? Like, oh wow, Stefan Molyneux, holy shit, are we scraping the bottom of the barrel, Joey?
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'd have to say
I'm going to go on a tirade
Rowe.
about the alt-right pipeline in a second here, and that's not the conversation we're having.
Marcion Rowe is the
nice.
Joe Rogan is the Joe Rogan of the High Republic era. That's all I'll say. Marcion Rowe is the Joe Rogan.
That is an insult to Marcion Rowe.
Yeah,
that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, that's Celestin Prick. Is the Joe Rogan.
I apologize.
Yes, Ina Toon. I hate that guy. I hate him.
Maybe it's just because I'm space racist against Celestians. Like I feel like my aggressive hatred of Naya Num has run over onto the Celestians as a species that I'm like, oh great, one of these guys.
Space Alex Jones probably would really love to talk to you about this.
I still can't believe you hate Nine Nub, Jared.
Huh?
I still can't believe you hate Nine Nub.
I can't stand him. I love that part of the Rise of Skywalker. My favorite part of the Rise of Skywalker is watching the Tantive V4 get blown out of the sky because Num is on it. Yes, I think he deserved to die, and I hope he burns in hell.
Thank you for tuning in to the Knights of the Nerd Academy Republic, whatever the show is.
Knights of the Nerd Academy is going to be our offshoot show at this point.
That's gonna be my offshoot.
Knights of the number one Academy Club.
Knights of the Knights of the War Stars.
Anyway, last week's Bad Batch was not bad.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember exactly the week before this one and everything.
It was when they had to extract that politician.
Oh yes, okay. I have to say, I think I liked that one a lot more than a lot of people, just because I liked the inner conflict and the seeds that they're sowing of rebellion. I feel like because they take him all the way to what do you call it, right? Sid's place.
Yeah,
I don't know. I liked seeing them have to wrestle with, okay, we're helping separatists now.
Yep.
And try to I don't know. I thought it was an interesting dynamic for them. I would have liked to see more of it, but we probably still will.
Furthered an opinion I have that I don't know how anybody else feels about this, but I maintain that if the Separatist Alliance was not A, being used as a sock puppet army for Darth Sidious, and B, made up by a lot of corporations and elites who are leveraging because space capitalism is somehow worse than real capitalism, but we're going to get to space capitalism eventually, I'm sure, that they latched on to this cry out against the failings of the Republic, that if you remove the corporate interests in the Separatist Alliance and you remove Palpatine's influence, the Separatists are the good guys in the Clone War.
Yeah.
Like a version of that conflict where there is an actual grassroots secession movement from the Republic, and it has everything to do with the way that the Republic is broken and is in the pocket of all of these corporations, and there is no true justice. The galactic focus is on the core worlds. Like, there's an actual point to be made here. And their army's actually more humane because it doesn't employ child soldiers and then genetically engineered child soldiers.
With chips in their heads.
With chips in their heads. Like I said, remove that element. Remove it where it's like this is just one giant long con to kill the Jedi. Remove that element and make it so that the corporations don't run the CIS. They're the good guys.
I honestly, you're making a lot of sense. Honestly,
I'm just saying, and granted, but here's the other thing: the CIS is only has the military might that it does because of the corporations. Yeah.
Well, you take all the corporations and stuff out, you don't have a conflict. You have, like you said, a grassroots movement. It's not even a war. basically. I don't even know, but it takes me back to that
there
episode
are like
of
individual people who aren't a part of who aren't a part of the galactic corporate elite, who aren't, on somebody's payroll, who aren't agents of the dark side, who are outraged, but clearly not surprised that the Republic became an empire.
Yeah.
And it's moments like that where I'm like, they're the good guys. The Separatists could have been the good guys here.
Yeah.
Raxus is just, they are. Raxus is one of the places where I think it was the capital. I think they chose it as the capital so it could be, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I'm getting on the whole, it was orchestrated kind of thing. I'm wondering why they picked that. It feels like a very Alderanian place, honestly. Raxus does.
Yes. That's a good point.
One thing I will say is I go back to the episode of Rebels where you had they find the droid ship on the planet, and you have like the last battle between the clones, between Rex and these droids, and basically you have Ezra figuring it out for them. You guys were both fooled by the same person, and stuff. That's what it reminds me of, and I think that's what that's not the first time anyone figured that out. That was the first time they said it on two characters on screen. Maybe the Bad Batch figured that out here by the end of the season or something. They're like, okay, well, maybe we need to actually start working with these people because what we were working for was bad.
I feel like that's the end game. At least
think so.
At least I can't speak today. At least if it concerns them, like a good ending for them.
Right.
It's like the bad ending, they all die. They either all die or...
This is it with everyone calling for blood. Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, no, you're good. I just think that... I lost my train of thought, Gerry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. It's not you. It's me.
Okay. I'm going to talk about filler because God knows it's a conversation we love having around these parts.
I know.
Okay. Content-wise, like, again, part of the problem here is the way that Lucasfilm keeps marketing these shows. And the way that the Bad Batch as its own project feels like it has shifted tone with every episode. That it's like Imperial transition, bounty hunter stuff, Imperial transition, intrigue about the fall or the what like the future implication. Like it keeps tone shifting. These last few episodes tonally and like the objective of the show have felt the most consistent. And that even though like the content itself has not furthered the Omega plot or the Crosshair plot, what it has developed is the tone of like my name for this episode for the video viewers who can see implies is that this is a children's show about fighting a fascist uprising and the way that anti-fascist resistances kind of take root and the way that we keep seeing like individual instances of the Empire and its atrocities, be it them trying to just murder a head of state.
Yeah.
Like them trying to castro the leader of the Confederacy, or here where like the Empire stages an attempted assassination on Ornfrey Ta.
Keyword attempted, because we're going to get into that.
Deep sigh. I
hate this.
Not
fandom.
at you, Connor. Just at the
No, I hate this. No. I know.
I'm so ready.
I hate this fandom.
But like, I like that we're getting more and more of like the Empire are this feels. I don't know. Okay, maybe part of it is. Like I've been talking on the other shows, I've been very, very, very entrenched in Robert Evans after the Revolution. And just the whole vibe of a what the hell happens after the world ends type vibe has been kind of like right here a lot. So maybe part of that is what is like really getting me about these last 2 episodes is just that what the hell happens after the bottom falls out? How do you fight back? How do you begin to fight back? And because of the hilarious nonlinear storytelling of Star Wars, we know we know that they win. We know that we beat the Empire, but we also know that it comes back and it comes back worse. Like authoritarian regimes and movements often do. So there's just something really fascinating, and that I went on a walk before the show today, and I was thinking about the episodes, and it occurred to me that I was like, what is the reason why the galaxy is very small argument? Do the air quotes up here because my computer was covering it. I'm not worried about it here because there are instances where I'm like, the galaxy feels way too small sometimes, where it's the same characters interacting with each other. And I know some people have made the argument where it's like, oh, what do you mean the galaxy's too small? Like the beginning of the first movie is a woman who doesn't realize that she's above the home world of her clandestine twin brother being chased by her father. That none of them know about their relation to each other. To which I will say that is why other tiny connections make the galaxy feel smaller. Is that we already have this like. You already have to.
The 9 movies are just one saga of one family.
Exactly, and I understand why some people go, okay, let's just get away from as many of these people that we've already met as we can. I understand the thought process, and I agree with it in part, but I also like seeing these characters pop up, like seeing the Syndulas.
Oh, that was cool
in this week's. And I got Chopper spoiled for me on goddamn Twitter.
No.
Because I was doing camp shopping. Looked at my phone, forgot it was Friday, forgot I didn't watch Bad Batch yet, looked at my phone and just saw that psychotic bucket of bolts. And I was like, shit. I was like, that's cool, Chopper, but shit.
I hate that for you. Yeah. I went, like out loud and stuff whenever they popped up and everything.
I was watching it on the metro commute to work, so I was like half asleep.
He's on the metro.
But like,
no, Connor's on the metro. I'm a prick. I'm sorry.
We know.
Woo. Anyway.
So glad you could join us. Did you take the metro? I'm in on the joke now, right? Yeah, sure.
No, I was just watching it like half asleep, and so like when Chopper and Hera, I didn't realize it was Hera at first. I thought that like literally that was Hera's mom with Chopper. I was just still half asleep, and I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like Mrs. Syndulla. Oh wait, that's Hera.
Mrs. Syndulla.
I was gonna say Mrs. Syndulla. Mrs. Syndulla, can I have a granola bar? Sorry.
But yeah, no, it was really cool seeing them. I rewatched it like probably about an hour before we got on, and it was just really cool seeing Ryloth again because it's one of my top 5 planets. And just seeing like how the Empire, just seeing like the whole like how these worlds react to Imperial occupation is something that, to me at least, has been kind of lacking in the show. And so the fact that we're getting some of it in these last 2 episodes, I wish we got more of it in the last episode, but we got a pretty good amount of it in this episode. The fact that we're getting that and we're seeing that transition more and more is just really exciting for me.
That's the best part about this show, and that's what I back to what you were saying a little earlier there, Jared, too. And I mean, you too, Connor, just this talking about it is I guess maybe you haven't seen it. We've heard it said a couple of times that more clones are arriving every day at certain planets and stuff. And, some planets, I love that we've seen we've been to Pandora or Pantora, excuse me. Pantora, the wrong planet with blue people. Yeah. We've been to Pantora.
Don't keep talking about Avatar because Scotty's going to show up and I'm going to have to hurt his feelings about Avatar.
Scotty will hear, and he's like, he's not messaging me. I did get a message, but anyway, I thought he wouldn't. Like, I want to tell you something about Avatar. They were like, Pantora, Araxis, and then this week, right? Well, and Braca, I mean,
new and old.
It hasn't been like full force yet. It hasn't seemed like it, but at the same time, it is a little like, okay, like Cham. I was surprised that Cham was ready to go along with them because that was the most.
See, on paper, that feels out of character because like when you first think of it, you're like, oh, Cham Syndulla, like radical freedom fighter, and then you're like,
but with how quick it was, and he fought with like him being friends with Hauser. Which, I mean, can we go on? I can't go on enough about how much I love that clone's hair. I want to get that haircut. Oh, man. Great looking guy.
I can't wait to see what he does in the next episode.
He seemed very not cool with stuff. I think
he's hot. He's a cartoon, but he's hot.
Hauser, and I mean, he looks like the other ones, but he looks different somehow.
Yes.
So I will give you yes. Hauser's a good looking guy. But I think they're planting seeds of this is why Project War Mantle is going to take off for Rampart because you've got these clones who are like they are loyal and okay, we killed the Jedi, but wait a second now, like I'm a little bit of a free thinker because I've dealt with the Jedi and they gave me autonomy and like made me feel like a person. And besides that, I mean, this is just someone who's worked with Cham and he's like, I this isn't what I signed up for. Like what happened with and people were like, well, the Bad Batch wasn't even in this. I would argue that we didn't have him for a ton of the episode, but you had Crosshair like right there the whole time, right next to Rampart. He's like Rampart's like I don't know, like
I want to
Darth Maul, his like blunt instrument or whatever to do with his will. Go what do you got, man?
You both probably saw this on Twitter, the whole like how the Bad Batch were just a cameo in their own show. And there was this Twitter thread by Alden Diaz, AD Strider. If none of you, for those watching or listening, AD_Strider, follow the guy. Alden is great. He articulates so many wonderful Star Wars threads. And one of them was about how titles in titles in the Star Wars stories that we see, they take on more meanings than what we initially thought they were. So like The Last Jedi, we knew, okay, it's going to be Luke, but then it turns out to be Luke and Rey. Rise of Skywalker, Ben, Rey, Luke, Leia, what have you. Resistance not being about the Resistance. It was about this one guy who became a Resistance spy. And now we have the Bad Batch. And I'm just going to read it straight from his thread because Alden puts it perfectly.
Alden is an instant follow. If you're not following him, like go do it right now. Seriously.
He says, I know the Bad Batch is only one of these titles that has an actual group name designating certain characters, but I think it does ask us to afford it the same sort of thinking. Who are the Bad Batch now? Is it not everyone who didn't fall in line? All of the expendables, the outcasts, the rapscallions, criminals, and broken toys, and the original misfits being Clone Force 99. They've linked together such a varied group of people and creatures, from Sid to Moochie to the Martez sisters and beyond. Moochie. And just
love Moochie. It's beautiful. It is beautiful, and it is like I was thinking. I think like a lot of people. Well, maybe the show is the Bad Batch almost being like they're essentially
they're an anchor.
Star Wars. They're the A team in Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
like it's essentially
for other misfits to unite with.
Yeah, and I mean it's them going around. Basically, well, like I think he said in that thread too. They are our eyes in this whole thing. They are our eyes into here's what and it's so interesting coming from the perspective of clones, right? We're getting this perspective from people who were like, these guys were engineered to fight the war and stuff. I love that. But just seeing, I don't know, the slow burn rise, I love it. Seeing I don't know. Back to this last episode, this was probably, I think, this might have been one of the most well-paced episodes yet. I don't know if any of you guys feel that. Besides, like the first several episodes felt fairly well-paced to me. This was like, I liked at least the way it I liked Cham's journey, and it seems like it's not done yet. I feel like it feels very to be continued, obviously. But just the way how Cham, like we said, on paper, you were saying, Jared, on paper, Cham wouldn't go along with it, but these are people he's fought beside. These are people that he's trusted, and like, okay, if they think this is what's right, let's try it. Let's try for peace right now. Let's try for peace until his daughter gets charged with a war crime without a trial. And then is like, I'm sorry, bitches, I'm done.
It's over.
Yeah.
You get an extremist Cham now.
Well, I'm like him and the mother. I thought we were going to see the death of the mother today. Honestly,
I seriously thought Crosshair was going to whack her.
I like how Cham Syndulla went full Drake, and he's like, you about to make me turn back to the old me.
Yeah,
he's like, you're really gonna have me gangbanging back on Ryloth right now, aren't you?
Right.
He's like, you're gonna have. It's like you're really gonna make me pull out the thing on some Imperials right now. Like you're doing this to me at this. Okay, I'm gonna use my one. You fuck around and you find out. Like
that is. It's so good. All those that showed up there at the end looked like elite squad troopers. Are those all conscripted soldiers, you think? Because there were just like several at the beginning, right?
I would say so.
Did anyone else notice that? Did you notice that, Jared? Like,
yeah, I was curious on that as well, and I'm not 100% sure in either direction.
Yeah. I just want to think, because Rampart is so for that, I'm thinking he's already building up his force, right? To prove again, and I still think we're gonna see. I think like Hauser is not really gonna fall in line either, and I think they're gonna start to go, okay, maybe we need to start phasing these dudes out. Ultimately, I think we see the Kaminoans fight back for their own gain, not for good or anything towards the end, honestly.
Yeah, no, I feel like we're going to get a clone rebellion.
Something we've been talking about a lot, Jerry, on here is the likelihood of the clones, and that Kamino is going to be like, okay, find out part 2. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's pretty much going to be a thematic sequel to when the Separatists invaded Kamino in the Clone Wars. I would assume it would be, at least.
Yeah.
Instead of the Separatists, it's the Empire. So.
Very excited. Okay, so Orn Frita, Lords of the Sith. They said attempted. Apparently, he's moving on the gurney.
Is he moving on the gurney? I didn't see.
So apparently,
it goes by so fast.
24 at someone. This wasn't me. Someone else provided the timestamp. 24 minutes, 20 seconds in. If you look, I think on the lower right-hand side, you can see his hand moving. It like twitches up and then goes back down. Now that could be because like sometimes
that's brain death.
Yeah, that could be it. But like, again, attempted assassination. I know.
What did you say the timestamp was, Connor?
24:20. And like, I know
go
attempted
ahead.
assassination is just a very thin thread to hang on to, but like I can't see them.
He does. He literally goes like this. His hand goes. He just opens his hand. It's not twitching. They're making it sound like he's doing one of these. It's just his hand is like opening up.
Twitched a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Don't
well, like when he gets shot.
Don't force push me out of my own show, Jerry.
Get me to a buffet. Get me to the buffet. Sorry, I just see Champs into like last night on Force Connect. By the way, like or the other night on Force Connect. Who was it? Jackson kept saying that orange frita just sounds like some kind of like appetizer or something. Have a little orange frita.
Yeah. But
I'm just interrupting, just as I'm like rewatching Orange Free get shot.
He gets shot
to, like,
right in the
wound.
Freaking temple.
I just want to come back to the fact that not only does Cham Syndulla threaten his life and hold a blaster up to him, he does not hold it up to Orange Frita's head or his chest. He's like, I will shoot you in the throat for fucking with my kid. I will shoot you in the neck, fat boy. Do it again. Yeah. I love it.
Oh, I love Cham.
I love violently protective fathers in Star Wars.
It's the best. You don't mess with the kiddos. You don't mess with the kiddos. You're gonna get the horns if you mess with the kids. That's all you.
All right, let's see where this bolt hits.
Yeah, pretty much hits like in the right side, I think.
It's like right in his temple.
Is it his temple or does it hit his leku?
I think
to me at least it looks like his leku. I mean, not leku, his temple.
It looked like right in the thing, like it was a headshot, my man. It was a headshot, and I know.
Okay, all right.
I know there's a lot of fat on that guy, but I mean, come on. He's got a thick
my
head.
Shirt back up because I'm about to go get the dry erase board. My shirt's been mostly unbuttoned this entire time, so I could get the air conditioner to like breeze up into my man titties. One moment, vamp.
While fan right here.
Dry erase board.
Okay, we're getting the dry erase board. I assume this is bad.
What is he gonna write? Let's see.
Oh snap!
Exciting stuff, folks. What is the Dark Jedi gonna write on this dry erase board for Knights of the Nerd Republic?
He's concentrating quite well despite us commentating.
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Are we? Okay. Is this like? Are we like CSI?
I'm gonna full screen. I'm gonna full screen myself here for a second.
Okay.
Okay. So, video listener or audio listeners, you're gonna miss a whole lot here. So.
Okay.
We got Norn Free Top. We got head. Okay. We got Leku. Okay.
That's perfect.
This is why I commissioned somebody else to do our art.
I like that though. It looks like a stuffed bunny, but in the best way possible. It's like a stuffed bunny who's stuffed with corruption.
All right. Well, I was to say I'm going to now simulate the being shot in the head part here.
Okay.
So
this is perfect.
I'm very excited.
It looks like Orn Frita gets shot about here. Now, because this is not a 3D model, it's like it looks like he got shot where his head meets his leku. And I think you can make an argument as to the fact that this was probably more of a flesh wound than actually like penetrating his brain. And again, they say attempted assassination. So I feel like the objective was not to kill him. Yeah, but like I say, if you got like leku, it's kind of like where the leku meets his head.
Yeah, and like again, just him dying would be a major retcon to Lords of the Sith. Like we're not talking like like this would be an entirely different level of retcon to Kanan's appearance in because like with Kanan,
this is not the changing of a lightsaber.
Yeah, with Kanan, the details are changed, but like the broad brushstrokes of the story are still there. Order 66 happens, his master dies, he escapes. Orn Frita dies. It changes like half of the book, I want to say. It's been a while since I've read
Maybe they get another, maybe it's a double, you know? Maybe it's, here's my thing, because I choose violence. Yes, he deserves to die, and I hope he burns in hell.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Like,
I
I can honestly count on one hand the amount of people in the Senate who deserve to live. It's easier to say the ones who don't deserve to die.
I kind of was like, when it happened, I was like, oh, that's different. Because I had read Lord of the Sith, but I'll tell you, I chose violence, and I was like, I'm kind of glad. I want him to be dead. I don't care, because that book, you can have someone else or whatever. It's fine. I love you, Connor. I'm sorry. I love canon and all that kind of stuff. But here's my thing. They could also be lying about him, it being attempted. They could be using it and then like, oh, he's dead. Oh no. Oh, for however their purposes or whatever.
I feel like they wouldn't.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. Like if this story, you have the story group.
Yeah.
So you have that, and then like the story editor of this show worked on Rebels and Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if Matt read the book, but like I'm sure he was privy to it probably at some point. I don't know. I just feel like we'll have to see in the next episode because we're definitely staying on Ryloth, and I'm super excited to see the fallout of what happens with that,
right?
Especially with Captain Hauser. So.
I had to be the guy that everyone hates. It's fine, and just be like, because I love canon and everything, but it happened, and I
don't know, Jerry. You aren't getting called a prick on air by your co-host at the moment, so.
Oh well, wait. Which one? Right now?
Yeah, you missed earlier. That's why I bumped Connor out earlier because I was like, I'm a prick. He went, yeah, we know. And I was like, oh,
right. Yeah, I am a prick. Here.
I meant to say that was more towards Jared as a joke.
Well,
obviously, yeah. I'm trolling at this point.
Well, here we go. Here's the thing: is all I felt after it happened. I thought about him being in the book, and I was like, I kind of like this better. I don't care if he's in the thing or not.
Now.
But that's me. I haven't read Lords of the Sith in a long time. I know he
reread it.
Is it a huge part? I think I was Becca Benjamin was on Force Connect last night. We were kind of talking about it. She's really into the books, and she kind of liked it too, which was strange. We were both kind of on the same page. Like, I'd be okay if he's dead. Honestly, it'd be like a small thing, but I get it. It is bigger than a lightsaber color or different things like that. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I forgot Orn Freytall was in Lords of the Sith.
Same. And then
I remembered he was in. I thought it was on Wendig's, in one of Wendig's books or something. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens to him. He's got a lot of head fat. It's okay. It'll be fine. Yeah. It's a flesh wound.
I'm honestly surprised I was able to get the helmet over my headphones.
It's tis a flesh wound. You lost.
Tis but a flesh wound.
This is a flesh wound. I had to choose violence and be the dissenting opinion here. So there you go. Yeah, that's fine.
Sometimes we
yeah, but I'm excited for next week. Obviously, things are in the air for when or where or how we'll be reviewing the episode next week. But I just realized I haven't eaten yet today.
Oh. Gotta take care of you, boo.
I do. But I also know I'm going out to eat later, and I'm trying to decide, do I want to eat like it's the end of the world, or do I want to eat reasonably well?
Like that is going to fill you up, but not like to the point of being in a food coma.
No, Connor, what you don't understand how I eat. There are two settings. I snack throughout the day and then have like one moderate meal at the end, or I basically accidentally fast. And then when I realize it's time to like eat, I gorge. Or I'll do that intentionally. Like nights whenever Travis and I are going to have like a guys' night, we're going to watch the Schmodown and have some sheets. I will not eat during the day so that I can I will do my entire caloric intake in one meal, eating sheets in one go. I'll be like, I'm going to have a burrito the size of my fist, an app platter, and then maybe some tater tot bombs, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't take care of myself, nice. And all of you know this by now. I dress well. I make it look good on the outside. But maintenance signs everywhere on the inside.
I identify with that hardcore. I'm just
Same.
saying, you're not alone.
Same.
You're not alone. But I'm excited for next week's episode. Do we think it is going to be the continuation of this story? You think?
Yeah,
it has to be. I don't know I don't know why they just drop that bomb and then go, okay, later, guys.
I mean, I guess weirder things have happened. I think the Bad Batch comes back in, possibly since they're kind of floating around out there close to Ryloth, right? I just feel like that they're going to come back in and probably be the ones to help. Like maybe Hera contacts them, contacts Omega. Maybe maybe they exchanged email addresses or something. Who knows? That moment between them was adorable as hell. That was the most adorable, sweet moment in the whole thing. I loved it. I loved
when Omega showed Hera her room.
Yeah,
it's like yes, the room.
When we're not shooting at people, it's my room.
We're not shooting at people. We're being chased. Who's being chased? Are you in trouble?
I thought you were. Yeah,
yeah, I thought you.
The whole moment with them, and I saw someone today talk about how adorable it was to hear her tell Hera it's an modified Omicron class attack shuttle. So, I love it so much.
Oh, a little moment before we end. I just remembered a little moment from not this week's episode, but last week's episode when Omega is shown to be very good at Dejaric.
Oh yeah, that was last week.
That was so sick.
I love cute. That was her and Sid's.
I wish we saw the whole game between her and Hunter. Wish they didn't just fade out.
Obviously, I guess she won, right? Because she's still going on missions and stuff. So I love that. I just love the whole thing.
I just love how Sid's just about the bag and nothing else.
I love she is a cheapskate with a heart of gold. I will contend, because she is like what is it? And Jackson even put it this way on Force Connect the other night. He said clearly they're setting it up that she's giving them and taking very white hat jobs, as opposed to the black hat of, we're going to go kidnap a senator's daughter or whatever, different things like that, we're going and doing things that are not legal.
Shit. They're do not legal shit.
It is. It's not legal, but it's not bad. Or at least it's helping good people usually. Yeah. So, except for when they got Jabba the Rancor, but they took it away from slavers. So fuck those guys. Sorry, I used to.
It's okay. I used 2 or 3, but yeah. Well, I think that's all we have this week. Obviously, by the time you guys are hearing this, we will probably all, save for the people who aren't in the same state as us, i.e. a Joel or a Connor or a Devin, oh God, I just said in the Joel's in a different state, and I'm really sad again. Although, Connor, you and Joel could theoretically meet up now. I don't know where exactly in West Virginia
he is. Right, he's in West Virginia. That's right. Yeah, I'll have to contact him.
You guys do an episode of Nights from the same room, and we'll do an episode of Nights from the same room, and we can all pretend we're hanging out together, and I really want to see you all in person. Anyway, by the time you guys see this, I, like Travis and Alexis and Levi and Mike and Spencer, will all be in the woods, so won't be seeing our social medias and stuffs, and there will be an episode of the Versus series that will go into the main feed in the middle of the week. I am not sure if we will be doing an episode of Nights next week or not. That will be the Saturday after we get back. I don't know how tired, tuckered out, or how scheduling will work. So big maybe on an episode of Nights next week. There will likely be an episode of the number 1 contender next week. Things are heating up. Schmodown Collision is coming up. I'll announce it here because Star Wars stuff. Host of Force Toast, co-host of The Jedi Way with John Roca, and contender for the Star Wars Movie Trivia Schmodown Championship of the World. Laura Kelly will be joining us after the collision to talk about her, training and obviously the big championship match she will be taking part in at the end of the month. Very excited to talk to Laura again. Have some cool guests coming down the pipeline for number one contender. So stay tuned for that.
We also will have something special for you all with nights within the coming weeks.
I mean, we could just talk about it now that you've done the thing.
That's right. Yeah. For those unaware, I got to interview Matt Miknovitz about his work on Jedi Fallen Order.
And
I wrote
we
an
will
article about it.
Yeah. We'll hopefully have a video and audio version of the interview on the channel and on the podcast feed soon. Big ups to Connor for a very big interview.
Thank you. Took a lot of
job,
emails.
I don't know how pompous it sounds to say this, but I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Because you put in a lot of work to make that happen.
A lot of emails.
So that will also be coming down the pipeline. Probably not while we are away at camp, just because we are waiting like a final okay to make sure we can post the video and audio version. However, there will be a bonus episode uploaded to the main feed. We are tossing up Cal Kestis versus Ezra Bridger for the Versus series. So as a little fun game before we end the show, all biases aside from somebody here, who do you guys have your money on?
Oh man, Cal versus Ezra.
Season 4 Ezra versus like end of the game Cal Kestis.
I mean, I'm sorry, Connor. I've got to go with Ezra on that one. I mean, the man conjured space whales. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He didn't. I guess he didn't conjure them, but he called them. So yeah. Anyway,
he like Scarlet Witched them out of thin air.
Yeah. Or Loki. He very, very, very expertly just Yeah. There you go.
Glorious purpose.
I'm not sure.
Glorious porpoise. You're welcome.
If I'm going off like lightsaber combat alone, I got to go with Cal. I think he's just more crafty, or at least not a lot more, but like tiny bit more. I feel like this would be a very evenly matched fight, but I could be wrong.
I could see that.
Well, keep your eyes on the podcast feed. I know Spencer and I had a lot of fun making that one. Also, when we get back from camp, on the docket is the next episode of the Knights of the Republic Versus series that will be Patreon exclusive, as is the rest of the Versus series. We just like to use it as bonus episodes, and we don't have any time to record something. And that will be Master Yoda versus Darth Treya, which we are very excited for. We actually have our full. I got the idea in like a fever dream in the shower. Like I was like had like a fit of like, because I like sometimes like I get the idea for the matches with just like the visual in my head, and I just had this like image in my head of Yoda like doing a corkscrew around the 3 floating lightsabers, and I was like, yeah, Treya versus Yoda.
Nice.
We also are going to be doing High Republic characters soon. I say characters. We're going to be using our first character from the High Republic. It's going to be difficult because this isn't a complaint, but the Disney canon has not given us much in the way of explicitly discussing people's chosen martial arts in the way that the old canon would rather frequently name drop such and such using what form, this form, the other. That said, the Rising Storm all but confirms Stellan Gios as being a Form 2 specialist with a crossguard lightsaber, which that's like dipping your pickles in peanut butter in terms of like these. Okay, I'm going to say I've not tried peanut butter pickles, but apparently they're delicious and will like change the way you think about the world. I have not consumed them. but like Stellan Geos using a crossguard lightsaber to do Form 2, which for those of you at home is Count Dooku's fighting style, Nakashi, basically European fencing, but with a lightsaber. Stellan Geos using that form to use a crossguard lightsaber is the most like theoretically incompatible, but also genius combinations because it's not something you'd expect. Also, I have theories on how he's able to do another sword fighting feat that I'm not going to say because Connor hasn't gotten that far and I almost spoiled it.
Great.
But I'm not going to spoil it for you. But he does have another lightsaber based feat that I'm very curious on in terms of his martial prowess. But Stellan is not the Jedi using from the High Republic. I will give this spoiler. It is somebody who is featured in the comics more than the books because I feel like that'll be an easier way to gauge lightsaber tactics in a visual medium.
Okay.
So very excited. Just because talking about High Republic. It's not going to be for a couple months. Their matchup is in October. Though we have the rest of them planned. We got some canon characters. We got some Legends characters. We got some deep cut Legends characters. Very excited. I know this is basically just turning into an ad read for the $5 tier of the Patreon right now, but we got a lot of cool stuff coming for the Versus series. And then we have the tournament at the end of the year, which become a patron and you can make a bracket for the tournament and win free merch like our $5 patron Charlotte did. Yeah. Last year, and granted, we did it around the holidays, so that was bad on me. But I tried to get like other like podcasters because I wanted to have like a podcaster bracket going, like bracket contest going too, because I wanted to see how people did. And like nobody really had time to make one, and that's okay. But I want to do it again this year because Charlotte's was impressive. Like she only missed one matchup.
Wow.
And that well, she got one wrong in the first round. And like that affected like another one because like she already picked the wrong side of the bracket. For newer people who are tuning in and have no idea what the hell we're talking about, we do a Versus series tournament at the end of the year. That's why we started breaking them up into seasons. So the season 2 tournament, on one side of the bracket, we're going to have everybody who won their Versus series matchup. And on the other side of the bracket, we're going to have everybody who lost. And they're going to be randomized in order. So there's no way for Spencer and I to really like match them up accordingly. And that way, in theory, you can end up with some mismatches, which I think can be funny. Like you could end up with a situation where I'm going to spoil one of our combatants for later in the year. You can end up. I can have a situation where it's Darth Revan versus Savage Opress, and it's like, okay, bye Savage. It was nice that you made an appearance in the bracket. Thanks for stopping by. Next round. Then there are others that are harder to deliberate on. I know Spencer and I got nervous. I can't remember if it did happen or if it almost happened, but things were up in the air for a second because for a hot minute we were like, we might end up with Mace Windu versus Darth Vader, and that's going to be hard to figure out.
Wow. Yeah.
I was like, we had both Mace Windu versus Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi, like circa Revenge of the Sith versus Darth Vader, that were like both potential. Vader versus Windu would have been semifinals because they both won their fights. But we were like, it could end up being Obi-Wan versus Vader in the finals, and like that's just going to be a 3-hour episode on its own. Like we'll have to do this in 3 parts, and that was not what I wanted. But anyway, speaking of our Patreon, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Case and Brion, the Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, and Zach and House, and our other $10 patron. One moment.
Ooh, something big.
I think I know where this is going.
Jerry, did you see what I put on Twitter a couple days ago that we have a new patron?
I don't know if I did or not, but I'm intrigued.
This is where it's going.
It's going exactly where you think it is, Connor.
Oh, snap.
Thank you. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna run around. No, sorry. I'm sorry. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna run around or desert you for your patronage. Someone spent $10. Like, they gave us $10, and this just happened. I need to stop it before the video gets copyrighted. That song is unironically good, and you can kiss my ass. But yeah, Heroic History 101 will be coming back soon, as will Movie Club, once everybody's back in the same room and as their schedules calm down a little bit. I did this a little out of order. I did all the plugging. Connor, where can the lovely people find you, bud?
They can find me. They can find me on Twitter at Depa Banana, Instagram ConmanJFO, Facebook at the Alliance of Star Wars Fanatics, a Facebook group that I admin. You can find me very, very, very slowly writing articles on StarWarsEditorIG.com, where my most recent article is the Matt Miknovitz interview one. So go check that out. A lot of really cool insight for only just 30 minutes. We only had 30 minutes. I was hoping to talk to him longer, but we only had 30 minutes. But hopefully, maybe in the future, I can chat with him for like longer than that. But regardless, it was really cool with what he was able to tell me. It was really dope.
And he had an exclusive scoop for Connor about Jedi Fallen Order 2.
Oh, God, I wish.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
Wish.
I'm clickbaiting.
Matt Miknovitz confirmed secret war at Lucasfilm between Kathleen Kennedy.
The laser eyes are strong with this one. Pew, 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 pew.
Tiffany blocked me on Instagram, and now I hate women.
Anyway, Gerry, where can the lovely people find you and all that you do?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at the Canon Junkie. You can find me every Thursday night on the Bombadcast doing something weird. This last week we talked about the Jedi Prince series. We need more people to go back and watch that replay because that was absolutely fantastic. Me and Scotty Scotty had to leave the room. Because we've never really heard about it before. If you know the Jedi Prince series, I'm just going to say try Oculus. And just leave it at that, and you have to come and watch that episode to find out more. We might be breaking that down into more bite-sized pieces per book. And we've got a part 2 coming out because there are 6 books in that series, and we only went over the first 3. So stay tuned for that. I also do a talk show every Monday on the Bombadcast YouTube channel called Hyperfocus. I forget when this is coming out, either
Tomorrow at noon.
So then the next day, guys, this Monday, we have Mr. Pete Fletzer of Around the Galaxy coming on. I think we might be talking about that Charles Soule Kylo Ren comic run because me and him both have differing opinions on it. So that'll be interesting. Check that out.
And finish it.
Oh, dude.
I finished the first issue. I'm done the first issue. I just need to read the next 3.
Come on, you got to finish it so you can come hang out. But then the next week, actually, the one and only, the wonderful Jared the Dark Jedi will be my guest that Monday, and we can talk about whatever. It can be, honestly, the thing with Hyperfocus is it can be Star Wars, it can be not Star Wars, it can be whatever you want to talk about. And so just keep that conceit in mind. And then my buddy Scotty, I don't usually do this, but just a plug for my boy Scotty. He does Bombad Gaming every Wednesday. He did a 4-hour pizza stream last week, and he about collapsed, I think, from Greece and also just staying up 4 hours playing Mario. He basically almost beat Mario 64.
That's amazing.
But he plays anything. He plays everything. I think the goal was to collect 60 stars, and he did it. So, but yeah, go check out the Bombadcast on YouTube and wherever you find weird stuff like that on the internets.
Absolutely. Do that. Do check out all the Bombad stuff. Very much looking forward to Hyperfocus. I have an idea as to what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Because
I'm
it's
intrigued.
been a minute. It's been a minute since I've had just carte blanche, take the chain off time to talk about my favorite part of the fandom.
Oh God!
Not just to roast people, to talk about why talking about them is important.
Okay, you heard it here first. There's some sizzle.
I'm well prepared for this.
We could do that and some other topics, whatever you want. We have an hour and a half, however long you want to go, my friend. We have just to talk and hang out. That's the beauty of Hyperfocus. That's why I love doing that show. And go check out the first 2 episodes I've had with Nick Milkey and Brian Barry of Pink Milk. So fantastic fun. So
amazing
thank you guys for
facial
having me
hair
on.
Making their way through Hyperfocus already.
So much facial hair in Hyperfocus. I mean, it's just you got to watch where you take a drink. You might going to make sure there's no like beard hairs in it or something.
That's funny. But with that, thank you all so very much for listening. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. Do podcast reviews, I guess, because those help from what I understand. We are honored that you have joined us. And may the force be with you always.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar!